Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inspired with Christopher Williams. I'm your host, Christopher Williams, navigator and motivator with you on the path to achieving your goals and accomplishing all you dream you want to accomplish. Hey, thank you to all the support, all the fans, all of the people who follow the show online, who follow me on social media. Thank you. It really feels good to know that you guys are getting a lot out of the show and that you're getting a lot out of it that you can apply to your daily life and that you can apply to your business endeavors as well as any kind of leadership opportunities that you have as well. It feels good to know that you guys are not only getting a lot out of it, but that you're also letting us know how you feel about the show, letting us know what you liked about the show. And also, hey, keep the ideas coming. You never know, something that you mentioned may end up on one of the shows. So keep it all coming and let me know if you need any help. I'm always available to you. Facebook.com/Williams Inc. Christopher at OneWilliamsEnterprises.com and OneWilliamsEnterprises.com. At your fingertips, pretty much. Social media, online, everything's pretty much on smartphones these days. So, hey, just let me know whatever it is. I'll be glad to help in any way that I can. And if you want me to come visit you guys, hey, no problem at all. The coaching aspect is what I tend to have been doing a lot lately. So let me know if you want me to come visit any kind of group session you guys are having and you want me to come by and give you some feedback on something. I would love to do so. So just let me know. Hey, and we'll never know what we can get on the books. I can possibly meet somebody one-on-one, and who knows what can come out of that experience. So we look forward to the future of the show. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this until I'm told otherwise. So you're always going to be able to come here and get something valuable and something that you can add to your repertoire, so to speak. Today's episode is going to be very unique because this is the very first episode of our Viewer's Choice series. What we're doing is we're going to be polling a lot of you guys that follow us online and just basically getting some feedback on you as far as what you would like to see in the show. What we're going to do is we're going to take that feedback, we're going to put it all together, and we're going to be basically tailoring the show around your subject matter. So it's going to truly be that next level as far as feedback and as far as interaction. So we're very excited to get today's show going and to get this series going. So like I said, we're always growing, we're always trying to learn, and I'm learning from you just as much as you're learning from me. So with that said, let's go ahead and get the show started. So today's topic is going to be entrepreneurs in the workplace. As I said, today is going to mark the first episode. This is something that I did get as feedback from a couple of you guys. Unfortunately, the individuals that I got it from are still growing their social media presence. So I normally would shout them out on the show, let them know that, hey, this is what we're going to be talking about and give them credit for it. But being that we're still growing, apparently all of us are still growing. So I'm just going to drop them a line on their social media accounts once they get that up and going. But it's an interesting topic, and I'll tell you why. If you look into the media nowadays, within the last couple of years, to be honest, you really only see a lot of negative headlines as far as small business goes, small business owners. A lot of stories that talk about the top 10 worst businesses to start, how many businesses have been failing recently and how the economy is not really geared for small business owners. But what you don't hear about are a lot of the things that are really going well. I'm a student of business. I consider myself, a true steward of this environment. And one thing that I've really learned through my own research and just kind of using my eyes to see is that a lot of entrepreneurs, they're not necessarily dying off. It's that they're evolving. And the cool thing about it is that a lot of them are taking refuge either on a 9 to 5 or in the workplace. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually very interesting. So what we're going to talk about today is how to identify that entrepreneurial spirit, how to identify that passion, that drive, that purpose. Some people get a purpose while they're at their job. You never know. There are many success stories that start off that way. Not only that, we're also going to talk about how to harness that potential that you have, how to use it for your good, how to better yourself as an entrepreneur, as well as that step, that action plan to go from your 9 to 5 or your cubicle, so to speak, right onto your own office with your name on it, or your name or your business on it as well. So there's going to be a lot of information we're going to cover, but it's very exciting. I'm very excited to go over this with you and to share with you my knowledge in this as well as the knowledge I found. So what we're first going to talk about is, we're going to set the groundwork for the topic. We're going to talk about a little bit of entrepreneurship. Everybody typically already has an idea of what it is. A lot of quotes out there in social media, hashtags, what have you. But you know me, I like to make sure we're all on the same level for starting off. So the short, plain, simple definition of entrepreneurship is basically being in business for yourself. Providing a good or service to someone in particular or some entity, whether that's a business or a group of people, and turning a profit out of that. Now, when you think of entrepreneurs, of course, like we've been saying, you think of, just being on your own, jumping out there on your own. But, as we're going to talk about today's show, there are other ways of doing that. Now, a lot of times people say, well, hey, Christopher, how do you know typically what's really a business idea or what's just a hobby, something that you enjoy doing? Which is a very good and profound question. There's no one answer that fits everybody. Sometimes that involves you having to spend some time with yourself to really figure that out. But one answer that I've found that I've been able to give people on a, generally consistent basis is that a lot of times when you have a business idea, this is something that's very specific. You hear people a lot of times saying, they want to do photography or, they want to, paint or something like that. But when you have an idea that's business oriented, it's very specific. It targets a specific idea, it targets a specific group, and you're able to truly mentally figure that out within yourself before you even explain it to somebody else. Not only that, it's something that you're very passionate about. You talk to people a lot of times about what they're passionate about, what their passion is, and sometimes they may tell you hobbies, but sometimes it's a lot deeper than that. And what I mean by it's a lot deeper than that, it's something that they truly feel they can change the world by doing. You think of people who think of these business ideas and how it will make money in the short term. But a lot of times when you think of something that's a true business or entrepreneurial idea, it's something that they truly can start to figure out how they're going to actually change the world or change their environment with, whether it be short term to long term, or even sometimes people can think of it better backwards, long term to short term. So that's one of the ways you truly can identify what's passion, what's hobby, and what's really something that you're going to use to change the world as you think of it. Now, when you think of a lot of entrepreneurs and you think of the business place, it kind of makes you think of it being, you're like, well, you can't do both. And it's not necessarily because nobody has the energy to do both. It's because, a lot of people think, hey, well, companies have laws against solicitation and, what you do on the company premises and these kind of things. But when you're thinking beyond that, you actually see a lot of things that are good about it. A lot of potential investors and employers, as it relates to what we're talking about today, a lot of employers are now really excited about having someone who either was an entrepreneur or is pursuing entrepreneurship on their team or on their staff. It brings a lot of positive reinforcement to the team, and it also brings a different mindset to it. So we're going to jump into that real quick as well. The business mindset or the entrepreneurial mindset is in really high demand for the simple fact that you have a sense of creativity. A sense of creativity, which means you think outside the box. When you're an entrepreneur, a lot of times you really have to make decisions that are really on the fly sometimes. You don't always have time to truly plan everything. But some things are going to call you to make those decisions and think kind of on your feet. So a lot of companies are really, taking advantage of these people who they know are entrepreneurs or have been entrepreneurs, because that's a benefit that you bring to a team. You can think quickly on your feet. You're creative. You also have a mind for somewhat of a sense of ownership. You take accountability well as well. So I don't think just because you have that entrepreneurial mindset that you're gonna be shunned away. That's not how it works. you're actually in very high demand. It's really all about how you take advantage of this new chapter in your life or in your career, and what you use with it, what you can do with it. And that way, you can continue on the track of, going towards your business goals. So some people also say, well, Chris, how in the world do I, cultivate this? Now that I know this is something that is a true business idea, how would I cultivate this into something that's very long lasting and something that's going to eventually get me to that next step? Well, believe it or not, there's a way you can actually satisfy, your passion that you've now found, as well as, go forward in your professional career or make it last a little longer than you thought. Typically, when you have this particular idea or when you've identified this, you want to make sure that the job role that you have is going to foster that creativity. So you want to make sure that if you're in a place now where you're not able to truly think like you need to think or have that time to put into it that you need, you want to make sure that you start generating, you want to start generating some curiosity about going into a different avenue, something that's going to foster creativity, something that's going to aid you in being able to think. If it's not something directly towards your business idea, but something that's going to allow you to think outside the box. So use that energy, harness it, and put it towards, your professional career. That way you can go in a direction that's going to foster that creativity. Another benefit that you bring is a sense of vision. A lot of teams, especially in the workplace, like people who can see the big picture. So what you find is that renewed purpose that comes with that, especially when you can take that ownership spirit, that entrepreneurial spirit with you on your team, it kind of spews over into your team and it gives them a sense of renewal. When they have somebody that's in the trenches with them as far as an employee goes, they can have somebody that they can kind of help the other teammates that they have see the bigger picture. So that's another benefit that you have that you bring with you as well. Not only that, you bring a sense of creativity, the creativity that will be able to kind of understand things from a different perspective. Not only that, there's also a sense of risk that you have. Now, a lot of people don't see risk as a benefit because, it's risky. But a lot of employers actually like somebody who's willing to kind of test the waters a little bit, kind of test the boundaries. And once you take ownership of that entrepreneur mindset, you kind of inherit a sense of risk because, whether you admit it or not, sometimes being an entrepreneur is a little risky. It's just that with that risk, we kind of do more research with it. So it's kind of like a calculated risk. So it's not as scary as it sounds. But you kind of grow that sense of risk once you take on that idea or that identity of an entrepreneur. We're going to take a break to thank our sponsors for making the show possible. And we're going to come right back with more Inspired. So stick around.
10 years to learn the business. 10 years to make a name. 1 year on your own. It takes time to build a small business, but only 60 days to transform it with email marketing from Constant Contact. Sign up with Constant Contact and get 60 days of free email marketing to generate referrals, connect with clients, and build the business you've always wanted. Constant Contact. Start your 60-day free trial today.
Welcome back to Inspired with Christopher Williams. We want to take a moment to again thank our sponsors for helping make the show possible. We really appreciate it. Because of our sponsors, we're able to come back and be able to provide you with a quality show that we can be proud of and that we know you guys are proud of as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And now for the points of power. Today's points of power is this: work hard in silence, but let your success make all the noise. Work hard in silence, but let your success make all the noise. As a small business owner and an entrepreneur, a lot of times I found myself seeing a lot of companies out there celebrating so many milestones and so many different things. And I used to think, well, man, I want to celebrate something. I've been doing my business and I've been working hard and, trying to make my way. But what I had to realize is that I'm still working. You know, you go through different levels as you're trying to accomplish anything. You go through a planning phase. You go through a brainstorming phase. You go through a working phase, and then you go through different phases and different levels in whatever you do. So what you have to realize is the same thing I had to realize, is that when you're working, make sure that you're working while you can work. And the point of working hard in silence is this, is that while you're working, you don't want a lot of spotlight on you at the time, okay? Because you're still putting the pieces together. Don't worry about who's getting TV time or getting coverage or getting a lot of likes on Facebook or anything like that. You're still working, okay? You work in silence because you want to make sure that you get to do the things you need to do without interruption. You don't always want people to ask you questions because you don't have all the answers yet. So as you work, make sure you're putting your best foot forward. Use that time of silence to grow, to investigate, to encourage yourself. You're going to have to do that a couple times as well. But also foster a sense of awareness, okay? Make sure that you're aware of everything that's going on around you. Make sure you're aware of your industry, of your environment. And make sure that you're using all these benefits, because they really are benefits. Make sure you're using these benefits to your greater good, because once you finish the work, if you did the right thing and if you worked hard and you put as much as you could into it, people are going to notice, all right? And that's what it means to let your success make all the noise. Because once you're successful and once you have started to hone your craft and you've started to perfect things, people are going to start noticing you. So you won't have to go out and solicit feedback. People are going to automatically give you feedback. So just make sure that you're not letting, peer pressure and the world we live in tell you that you have to tell everybody what you're doing. While you're working, keep everybody on their, keep everybody anxious. If you're important, people will wait. That's one thing that I truly have learned. So work hard in silence, but let your success make all the noise. I promise you, it will benefit you. It is worth it. It's worth the time in silence because you can think more, Sometimes you just need to be able to think. Hear your own self think, get out of your own mind. But if you have so much noise going on, you're not going to have room to bounce your ideas off of. You're not going to have that time to truly just spend with yourself, Remember from a couple episodes ago, I told you one of the most important meetings you can have is the meeting with yourself. That's one of the most important times you can have. But if you're constantly looking for attention and trying to get people to notice you and notice every moment you have and every step you take, you're never going to get that time. So let the work that you do speak for itself. If you ever notice a DVD that did well as a movie in the box office, they don't show you any credits or any kind of behind the scenes until the movie's done, right? Because they've already shown that it's a great movie. They've already shown that people liked it. Now they're going to show you how they did it, right? That comes afterwards. All that extra behind the scene commentary, the laughs, the jokes, that's great. But that comes after the work's been done. So save that for the after party, so to speak. And I promise you, you will see more results and more benefit that will actually benefit you and your business that way. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. We've had a great time. The first episode of our Viewer's Choice series, I think it went very great. Hopefully you do too. I'm sure, I'm going to meet with the guys that gave me the idea, and I'm sure they're going to really want to know when to watch. So, speaking of which, always watch the other episodes of Inspired with Christopher Williams, bizlinks.tv, facebook.com. You can catch up on the other episodes, and also that's where you can also find us all the time. So stay inspired.